Okay, so the last thing I made, the pumpkin fruit cake, came out really well. I think a few people have tried it, hopefully, because it's good, don't miss out. And so today I thought I'd make a carrot cake. So this one is just a recipe I found ages ago, and I've been trying it out and getting it spot on. This one's a little bit more complicated. So to start with, grab 2 bowls, smaller one, get a larger one, dry ingredients, wet ingredients. Okay, to start with, you will need meth head scales. You want about 300 to 350 grams of carrots. If it's a bit over, that's okay because you chop the ends off anyway. Now, dry ingredients. You want half a cup of plain flour, 1 cup of self-raising, half a teaspoon of bicarb soda, and half to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Very important. Now, your wet ingredients: 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a packed cup of brown sugar, so push it in, 3 eggs. Now you can either use treacle or golden syrup. I prefer syrup. And for the icing, which is, you can put any icing on this if you think it goes with carrot cake. So what I use is about half a tub of just cream cheese, lemon juice, about a tablespoon, bit more depending on how lemony you like it. Too much will make it very lemony and very runny. So just add a little bit more until it's the right consistency. And caster sugar. Whip it round. Once it's kind of whipped and you get peaks, then sweet. Literally. Right, grab your little bowl. Now, this stuff, in some countries they use to put on the roads because it's so sticky. It's a pain to deal with. Grab yourself a measuring cup, do your oil first, and you'll see that there'll be a little bit of a coating of oil left on the cup. It's important. Three-quarters of a cup, about 185 mils roughly, thereabouts. 187.5 I think it is. That'll be spot on. Okay, so just wang that in. Just drain out, but leave a little bit. You don't have to get it all, because when you crack this stuff, it's a shit to get out of the cup. So, half a cup of this bad boy. Oh, here we go. That's heaps. Give your container a bit of a wipe before you put it back, otherwise it'll just stick to everything and you'll have to move out. Okay, so now there's a bit of oil still coating that, so hopefully that will help to get this stuff out the cup. Here we go. See, most of that came out in one bit. Beauty. Look at that. Hardly anything left in there at all. About half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is imitation. It's about half as much as the raw or organic or whatever. There is absolutely no difference. If you think there is, then you need to call someone for help. Just a bit, because it's strong stuff.
It'll get you drunk.
Now, we want half a cup of packed brown sugar. Get another measuring cup for that. Can't have too many measuring cups, because every time you want one, chances are it'll be wet or it'll be needs cleaning. So push it down with the spoon. You want half a cup, so this is packed. You got to push it down. Don't just leave it sitting in there because it won't be enough. Make sure it's packed in there. And I've spilt treacle on my bloody method scales. Brilliant. Throw them out. A little bit more. Perfect. Done. Nice. Alright. There. Last thing, 3 eggs. This is all your wet ingredients. 1, 2, 3. Now, use a balloon whisk. Gets it all nice and mixed in, start slow. You'll feel the sugar on the bottom of the bowl has gone quite, it gets quite thick. So just start off slow. Eventually it will turn into a paste. Wait till it turns into a nice, I don't know if you can see that, nice brown, just all mixed in together. Do not taste this, because I don't want to be held responsible for someone dying from, in fact, put them away when you don't need them. Next, dry ingredients. 1/2 cup of plain flour. Oh, perfect. Oh, sieve. $3 Kmart sieve. Hook in, chuck her in. A cup of self-raising. 1 whole cup. We're not substituting anything in this recipe. The fruitcake was different. You know, you can put a bit of custard in there, but no, keep this as it is. You got to get everything right. A bit more. A bit more. Perfect. In the sieve. So sieve all your dry ingredients together. 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb soda. About that much. About 1/2 teaspoon thereabouts of cinnamon. Don't go overboard because it'll get too cinnamony. Alright, that's the dry ingredients. Done. Sieve it all in. Okay, now that that's done, get yourself just another bowl. Get yourself a big grater. Now you're going to want to use the fine side, because if you have the chunky side, it's too coarse. You've got to have it nice and fine so it goes into the mixture. All right, leave you can skin them. I don't find I really need to. These are fine. These are really tasty. They're not bitter at all.
6.5 hours later.
Wonderful. About 300, just a touch over grams of finely shredded carrot. Okay, now you're going to want your metal spoon and a scraper-roo. So you got your dry ingredients. You don't need to make a well in it or anything. Just grab your wet ingredients. Just give it a bit of a mix around again, because if you do it, you know, when I did it, you know, it might, sometimes it does settle a little bit. Whack it in. It smells nice. Okay. Okay. Now, set your oven to 150. The original recipe said to put this in for an hour. That is way too long. I made one the next day and attempted, well, I experimented, with different times, checking it, set it for half an hour. Still a little bit sticky. There we go. Beautiful and smooth. Yeah, so half an hour, wasn't quite done. Stick the knife in. You don't want anything to be on the knife when you pull it out. Another 6 minutes, tiny little bit on there. Put it in for another 3 minutes. Took it out and it was spot on. That's my oven, remember? Not yours. Okay, so now once that you have mixed your dry ingredients with your wet ingredients, then you want to fold your carrot into the mix. So just dump him in. So, wonderful. It's all in there, nice and thick. Perfect. Same cake tin as the pumpkin cake. Again, you want to grease it. So, bit of cooking spray. Just give it a light coating. You want baking paper. Which I have just run out of. No worries. Okay, we want just enough to cover the sides and the bottom of your, again, 23 centimetre baking tin. Spring form, very important. Just makes it so much easier getting it out. So here we go. That. Yeah, it's good stuff. So that's spot on. Now we got 150 degree oven, fan forced. Yours might be different. Original recipe said an hour, obviously, but what we're going to do is we're going to set it in for half an hour and test it, which is the easiest way to do it, so you don't end up burning it. For all the effort you go to make it, don't burn it, because that's sad. Okay, so while that's in the oven, might as well start making the icing. Do not make the icing in a colander. The easiest way to do this is use just a normal metal spoon. So you're going to want, about half a container's worth, so that's probably about right actually, what's in there. But once you put your lemon in, it softens up pretty quickly. So about a tablespoon of lemon. Really get it in there, get it quite smooth, then start adding caster sugar. So just a bit at a time, like just a bit like this at a time. Start mixing it in. You want it reasonably thick, but you don't want it to be like glue. A bit more. Pop it in the fridge, just leave it until the cake sort of comes out. Right, back in about 25 minutes to test. Okay. So clean knife. Perfect. Nothing on there. And that's all there is to it. So you want to chuck this onto a wire rack, leave it in the tin until it's cooled down, otherwise it'll start to spread. So put him on the wire rack, just get the air into it. And now when it's cooled down, don't put the icing on before it is completely cooled. So you're going to want to let it sit there for a couple of hours until it's completely cool, because if you put it on, put the icing on while it's still hot, it'll just kind of drip and go very liquidy. I hope everyone has a go at this one because it's really nice with a bit of testing and a bit of experimentation on the timing. Keep it at 150. Don't change the temperature because the cake needs to reach that temperature. Just depends on how long for. Don't play with the temperature, just play with the time. Cream cheese is a very good, very simple icing. You don't need to go mixing from scratch icing. Cream cheese is beautiful. Given that that's a carrot cake, the cream cheese goes perfectly with it. So give it a go. You won't be disappointed with this one, I promise.